Applying theories to a nightlife in Leeds. Meet Susan, Lucy, Sam, and Paul. 4 students all enjoying going on a night out together in Leeds. How could we apply these theories to pre-drinks? From a positivist point of view, they're looking at being able to report the statistics associated and provide scientific explanations around this. Quick, Hughes and Bell stated in 2013 that 90% of people pre-drink in their home before a night out. They would then try and apply reason by providing more statistics. The price of alcohol is cheaper now. Statistics show that approximately 1/3 of the night's alcohol is consumed privately, which could be due to the club prices being more expensive. A humanist geographer would contrast these ideas and look at why people pre-drink. They may do this to reduce anxiety and feel more comfortable around people they don't know, and the statistics provided by a positivist geographer doesn't seek to understand the reasoning. A Marxist geographer looks at the pre-drinks, and he sees that Sam is not wearing branded clothing, and is instead going against societal norms. Sam also chooses to drink Leeds Pale Ale, supporting a local brand and local economy rather than contributing to a global capitalism. The slight inequality within the group financially means that Sam thinks the cost of the ticket is expensive and his friends do not. A post-structuralist geographer looks at how pre-drinking is culturally produced. Offers from local shops on leaflets persuade the friends to buy some drinks before the night out to save money, and media creates a pre-drinking culture. The night out. Sam decides to stay home after the pre-drinks and not go to prison with the rest of his friends. A positivist geographer would use a nodal region model to see where people spend most of their time on a night out and map demand for certain clubs and bars. Special hour certificates have increased as people are spending more time pre-drinking beforehand and aren't going to the club until later on. The data collected can be contrasted and compared across time and space. A humanist geographer would look at Sam and understand why he didn't go out. He wasn't particularly good friends with the group, so didn't have a fear of missing out, and he had a lot of uni work to do. A Marxist geographer would look at the data and look at Sam's financial situation. He doesn't feel comfortable walking into the club and seeing VIP areas creating a financial hierarchy and doesn't want to pay the overinflated price for drinks. Sam would much rather be at an LGBT organised event that he saw on social media, but due to none of his friends being part of the LGBT society, he felt too uncomfortable. Getting food after. Susan decides not to get food after and go home instead. A positivist geographer would look at the food outlet demand and map through GIS to see which food outlets should be placed where. Statistics show that demand for food after a night out is high. A humanist geographer, on the other hand, would look at the reason behind food consumption, such as choice of where to go and what food to get, which contrasts a positivist approach as they look to seek out reason why. Paul and Lucy chose to go to Subway rather than McDonald's. A Marxist view sees that Susan couldn't afford the food as she chose to spend more on alcohol, and capitalism impacts her ability to act freely. A post-structuralist approach sees that Paul and Lucy had a voucher for Subway, which they got from the bus, so that advertising impacted their choice of food outlets. There is now also the idea that food and drink have become linked, and food consumption after a night out is now normal. The taxi home. Only Susan decides to get a taxi home and Paul decides to walk instead. A positivist would look at this and map demand, seeing that where students are in the city, the taxi demand outside of Prism is higher. Taxi companies can use the data to see where demand will be high. Susan chose to get a taxi home which could be related to sexual offence statistics. Humanists would see this and say she chose to get a taxi to feel safer, as she knows if she is too drunk to take care of herself. A Marxist geographer would see that Paul decided not to get a taxi or an Uber because he doesn't like the way in which capitalist society forces Uber to increase their prices according to the demand. And a post-structuralist geographer would see that nightlife has become an integrated part of student life, and advertising companies are using this to increase alcohol consumption, despite 1 in 4 people being concerned about their drinking habits.